Next on Greatest Over-Exaggerated, Taking It Lightly with History, Tank Battles.
December 23, 1944. The Battle of the Bulge, Hitler's great Ardennes offensive, begins to falter. Kampfgruppe Piper, the spearhead of the 6th Panzer Army, is no longer on the offensive, but fighting for survival. Piper orders his tankers to dig in at the village of Gleize.
We're in Gleize. This is one of Kampfgruppe Piper's Tigers. So here we have a testament to the power of a German tank in 1944. They didn't come bigger or better than this machine here.
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
If you want to see a walk around of this tank, there are several videos I uploaded you can have a look at. Link in the description below. There are many videos about this tank on YouTube. I myself did several on this tank a few years ago. Sadly, all tell the incorrect history. Even I made several mistakes in my own videos. But with this video I want to correct that mistake.
Made a mistake. Now it's time to erase that mistake.
Tiger 213 is probably one of the most famous Tiger tanks left in the world. 1 because it's the only one left in the elements outside, and 2 because it was in an epic battle with several Shermans and Anthem tank destroyers, and I'm here to tell you that last part of the story is a big bag of bull. So what did really happen with this tank? Now pretty much nothing. It was just abandoned after it ran out of fuel. After the attack on Stafford had failed and Piper's forces were unable to take the bridges over Gamble, the forces around Gleize were more focused on Stoumont. And a lot of tanks and equipment were stationed here to prepare for an attack on Stoumont. During the final battles around Gleize, on December 17, Dollinger got command over Tiger 213. He took a defensive position together with another Tiger with turret number 211. At the Berrymont Farm high ground. Dollinger in the 213 and Geert Hanstuch in 211 were in a shootout with several Sherman tanks. Hanstuch was wounded in the fighting and his Tiger 2 was presumably knocked out. Dollinger in 213 opened up on several other Sherman tanks, scoring no hits. The Shermans scored several hits on the Tiger, knocking the front part of the gun off, which left the crew to bail out. This is a story many sites and even the museum in Gleize feeds people. But this is not what exactly happened. Tiger 213 was used by Willem Dollinger. Dollinger's first Tiger 008 can be seen driving to Tondorf here. Tiger 008 had to be abandoned near Stavelot, presumably because it ran out of fuel, leaving Dollinger to command 213. Meanwhile in Gleize, it was at this point defended by a lot of armor, but a lot of armor that had no fuel, ammo or men to operate them. The Germans were even short of infantry, but what they did have were approximately 5 to 6 Tigers to defend Gleize and several Panthers and Panzer IVs. Now these tanks were set up to defend an attack from the north, but they were set up really far apart and without any infantry left these tanks without protection. Now the tanks also had a limited amount of fuel, leaving them to think twice about every move they made. From 17th until the 24th of December, heavy fighting took place in and around Gleize. On December 20th, Gleize was shelled by American forces. This could also have caused some of the damage we see today on Tiger 213. If you look at the tank today, you can see that the gun was sabotaged. And if you compare it to the normal length of an 88mm, you can clearly see that 213's gun is still stuck in recoil. This is because the crew fired the gun in compressed state. You can also see this from pictures from inside the tank. Here you can also see some of the damage. This pretty much disproves that the gun was blown off by Sherman tanks in some epic battle. But how did the gun get knocked off? Now probably because of the shelling, or maybe because of the Americans testing several Panzerfaust or bazooka rounds on several Tigers in La Gleize. Like Jurgen's Wessel's Tiger with tactical number 104. This Tiger was abandoned after it ran out of fuel and did not join in on the fighting for La Gleize. And in this newsreel you can see the 82nd Airborne testing anti-tank weapons on the Tiger. After the war, the Americans were helping to remove all the abandoned military equipment. Tiger 213 was moved into the town and the tank was saved by Madame Jenny Genen de Wes. She offered the Americans a bottle of cognac to leave the tank behind. In 1951 the tank was moved to the spot where it currently stands. During the towing they broke the track. In the 1970s they restored the tank and gave it a new muzzle brake of another famous tank, the Panzer in Melbourne. And there's also a common misconception about this restoration, and that they used a barrel of a Panzer they found in a barn, and I will be talking about that story in another video. Today the Tiger still stands on the same spot and the December 44 museum looks after its upkeep. But the museum doesn't own this tank, so it will probably be never placed inside, so you don't have to place a comment below saying that they need to place it inside. The government and the small community of the town owns this tank, and this small community will probably never pay for a full restoration, because the museum is already looking after its upkeep for free I think, and the tank is also a huge tourist attraction, getting the museum a lot of visitors. It sort of turns into a vicious cycle. Because of this it will take a long time before it will be placed inside or see any proper restoration. So what do you think happened with the barrel? Was it blown off in the shelling, during the fighting, or maybe during the anti-tank testing? Leave your opinion in the comments below and I will see you in the next video.